Welcome to Super Showdowns, the ultimate destination for epic battles and legendary showdowns. Join us as we put iconic superheroes, villains, and mythological figures against each other in a thrilling matches of strength, strategy, and skill. The vastness of space stretched endlessly, filled with dying stars and collapsing nebulas. It was here in the cold void between galaxies that a lone spacecraft tore through the dark like a burning bullet. The ship was battered, dented, and covered in a thick layer of dried alien blood, proof of the carnage its owner left behind. Inside, lounging on a massive, throne-like sea of bones, was the one and only Lobo, the main man himself. He flicked open a holographic bounty board, chugging from a flask filled with an unknown greenish liquid that smelled like motor oil and death. His crimson eyes lazily scanned the list until one name caught his attention. Target, the Hulk. Status, extremely dangerous. Reward, 500 trillion galactic credits. Lobo grinned, showing rows of razor-sharp teeth. Now we're talking. He slammed his fist against the ship's control panel, setting coordinates for a desolate, war-torn planet known as Savage Core. It was a wasteland of broken mountains, deep ravines, and endless storms, perfect for a battle with a creature like the Hulk. Lobo revved his bike, the Space Hog, and shot down toward the planet's surface like a fiery comet. On the surface of Savage Core, Bruce Banner stumbled to the ruins of a long-dead civilization, his breath ragged, his mind clouded. His clothes were tattered, barely hanging on to his battered frame. He had been drifting from world to world, avoiding conflict, avoiding destruction. But trouble always found him. A deep growl rumbled in his chest as he felt it. The rage. It was always there, lurking beneath his skin, clawing to be free. He had tried to suppress it, but the universe would not let him rest. Then came the explosion. A massive fireball ripped across the sky, followed by the deafening roar of Lobo's Space Hog. The Czarnian bounty hunter landed with a brutal crash, kicking up dust and debris. He dismounted with a cocky grin, rolling his shoulders as he cracked his knuckles. So you're the big green boogeyman they want to take out, huh? Lobo sneered, twirling his hook chain. Gotta say, you don't look like much. But that's alright. Well, Lobo's had a long day, and I could use a little stress relief. Banner barely had time to react before the chain lashed out like a living serpent, wrapping around his throat and yanking him forward. The sheer force sent him skidding across the rocky terrain, his vision blurred, pain flaring through his body. But then he felt it, the monster within. A deep, guttural growl erupted from his lips. His bones cracked, his muscles bulged, and his skin turned green as his body expanded. Hulk! Smash! The ground trembled as the Hulk exploded forward, breaking free from the chain and launching himself at Lobo with an earth-shattering punch. The impact sent shockwaves across the battlefield, shattering boulders and splitting the land beneath them. Lobo was sent hurtling through the air, but he twisted mid-flight and landed on his feet, wiping blood from his mouth. He grinned. Oh ho, now this is gonna be fun. Lobo charged forward, swinging his hook and chain like a deadly whip. Hulk caught it mid-air, yanking Lobo toward him with bone-crushing force. The Czarnian barely had time to react before Hulk's fist slammed into his face, sending him crashing through a mountain. Dust and debris rained from the sky. The mountain had crumbled, leaving only a deep crater where Lobo had landed. But the silence didn't last long. A low, menacing laugh echoed from the pit. Then, Lobo walked out unharmed, cracking his neck as his wounds stitched themselves back together in seconds. That all you got, big guy? Lobo
Hey you, don't just watch. Subscribe please.
mocked. Hulk's eyes narrowed. Then he roared. A primal sound that sent shockwaves across the battlefield. He lunged forward, fists swinging like meteors, each strike powerful enough to pulverize mountains. Lobo dodged, blocked, and countered, fighting with the speed and skill of a battle-hardened warrior. He slammed his fist into Hulk's jaw, sending him staggering back, then leaped onto the green behemoth's shoulders, wrapping his chain around Hulk's neck in an attempt to choke him out. But Hulk didn't choke. He grabbed Lobo by the arms and hurled him skyward, leaping after him with terrifying speed. In midair, Hulk grabbed Lobo's leg and slammed him into ground so hard that the planet shook. A massive crater formed beneath them, swallowing both warriors in dust and chaos. For hours, the two warriors tore into each other, crushing mountains, shattering the sky, and leaving devastation in their wake. Lobo blasted Hulk in the face with a quad-barrel plasma rifle, only for Hulk to shrug off the attack and tear the gun apart. Hulk buried Lobo under a landslide, only for the Czarnian to dig himself out, laughing the entire time. No matter how much damage they dealt, neither could be stopped. Neither could die. Finally, both warriors stood amidst the ruins of the battlefield, bloody but unbroken. Their breathing was heavy, their eyes locked in a furious stare. Lobo grinned. You know what? You ain't half bad, Greenie. I could do this all day. Hulk clenched his fist, his muscles flexing as his rage only grew. Hulk will break you. And then, with a deafening roar, the battle returned. This time, only one of them would be left standing. The ruins of Savage core burned under a blood-red sky. The once mighty mountains were nothing but shattered debris. The rivers had long since dried up, and the very ground had been reduced to a wasteland of craters and fire. In the center of this apocalyptic battlefield, two titans stood unmoving, their bodies bruised, their fists dripping with blood that was not their own. They had traded blows that could shatter planets, shrugged off wounds that would have killed gods, and yet neither had fallen. Lobo wiped green blood from his lips and grinned. You're one tough son of Gamera, ain't ya? Hulk's massive chest heaved, his green skin riddled with bruises that were already healing too fast for normal eyes to see. He growled, his voice like an earthquake. Hulk smashed Lobo, and then they charged. They collided with a force that sent a shockwave across the planet, splitting the earth beneath them. The sheer impact launched dust and debris into space. Hulk's colossal fist slammed into Lobo's ribs, the crack echoing across the battlefield. But the Czarnian bounty hunter didn't stop. He caught Hulk's other fist mid-swing, twisting his arm at an unnatural angle before driving his knee into Behemoth's face. Boom! The Hulk reeled back, but Lobo was already on him, wrapping his unbreakable chain around Hulk's throat. He pulled tight, snarling, "Come on, Greenie, let's see if he can handle a little asphyxiation." Hulk struggled, his fingers clawing at the chain, his strength threatening to snap it like a twig. But Lobo was already moving, leaping over Hulk's massive form and yanking him backward, sending the Gamma Beast crashing through 3 mountains at once. Hulk's rage spiked, his muscles bulged even larger, his green eyes glowing with untamed fury. Then he grabbed Lobo's chain and pulled. Lobo's eyes widened as he was yanked forward with unstoppable force. Before he could react, Hulk's fist met his skull with a punch so powerful that it sent Lobo flying halfway across the planet. Lobo skidded across the battlefield, crashing through rock formations and slamming into the ruins of an ancient fortress. He groaned, shaking his head as he wiped blood from his mouth. His body had been torn open, his ribs shattered, but his Czarnian regeneration kicked in, healing him instantly. Hulk was already upon him. The Jade Giant tore through the rubble like a monster unleashed, his roar shaking the heavens. He grabbed Lobo by the throat and slammed him into the ground repeatedly, each impact leaving behind a deeper crater. Boom, boom, boom. Lobo spat out a tooth, grinning through the pain. That all you got? Hulk didn't stop. He lifted Lobo over his head and hurled him into the sky. The Czarnian shot upward, past the atmosphere, beyond the planet itself. But Lobo wasn't done yet. As he tumbled through space, Lobo reached for his belt and grabbed a plasma detonator the size of a skull. He twisted its core, overloading it to maximum output. As he re-entered the planet's atmosphere, he hurled the bomb straight at Hulk. Karikoem. The explosion was so massive it erased an entire section of the planet, sending firestorms and shockwaves across the hemisphere. The land split apart. Magma erupted from the core, and Savage core began to die. Lobo landed on his feet, cracked his neck, and looked for his opponent. For a moment, there was nothing but smoke. Then, a shadow emerged from the flames. Hulk stepped forward, his entire body charred and burning, his eyes glowing with pure, unstoppable fury. His healing factor was already working, but even the Hulk had taken real damage from that blast. Lobo whistled, impressed. Hulk leaped forward, but Lobo was ready this time. Using his insane reflexes, he dodged, wrapping his chain around Hulk's legs and tripping him. As the Gamma monster fell, Lobo mounted his back and grabbed his hook chain, wrapping it around Hulk's throat once more. But this time, he pulled with everything he had. Hulk thrashed. He roared. He fought. He knew how to fight dirty. Hulk punched the ground in rage, shattering the very crust of the planet. But Lobo didn't let go. He tightened the chain, cutting off Hulk's air supply just long enough to weaken him. The Gamma beast collapsed to his knees, his massive arms swinging wildly. Lobo, still wrapped around his back, gritted his teeth and drove his chain hook straight through Hulk's skull. Squelch. Hulk shuddered, his body jerking from the force of the impact. For the first time, the rage slowed. His healing factor fought back, but the Czarnian wasn't letting up. He twisted the hook deeper, snarling. "Sorry, big guy. You're strong, but strength ain't everything." With a final yank, Lobo ripped the hook free, sending a spray of green blood across the burning battlefield. Hulk's massive body swayed. Then, with one last grunt, the Incredible Hulk fell. Lobo stood over the fallen Gamma monster, his body covered in blood and bruises. He panted, rolling his shoulders, before pulling out a cigar and lighting it against the flames of the dying planet. Well, that was fun. He turned away, activating his wrist communicator. "Oh, I got your bounty. Big green's down. Send the damn credits." A robotic voice crackled in response. "Acknowledged. Payment has been transferred." Lobo gave one last look at Hulk's motionless form. Then he stepped onto his space hog, revved the engines, and blasted off into the stars, leaving the ruined planet and the battle of legends behind. Though Hulk's raw power and unlimited rage pushed him to unbelievable heights, Lobo's combat skill, dirty tricks, and sheer durability gave him the final advantage. With his regeneration, ability to fight intelligently, and refusal to die, Lobo barely managed to outlast the Hulk. But even Lobo knew, if Hulk ever got angry enough, even the main man might not walk away next time.